Okay, so let's try to bring in our data, actual data from Lab 2 that's in our shared Google Sheet that we put together as a class, and use this um, Excel activity that we did together in part when you were in class to be a template for the type of data that you want to present in Lab 2. So let's be crazy and start in the order. And the order is, let's get our days right. Okay, so if we're going to do whatever day you're doing, because we're doing this lab per your class. In fact, you're going to do it for the other class as well. But let's get our days right. Okay, so if we go to that sheet, okay, and let's go to that. Days for the red team are 6, 8, 13. The days for the blue team are 4, 8, 12. So all monoliths for the blue team, so 4, 8, 12. And I'll go in here and change my data here. This is day 4. This is day 8. Just changing my titles, 8 and day 12. You should know that day 12 is also a day 12 for the LED. We'll change that as well. That's where we split up the plants at day 8. So this is day 4, day 8. Okay, and we're also going to change it over here, day 0 to 4, day 8. Just going to change all the dates to make sense, and then day 12. And notice we have day 10 here. Well, I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm going to do what? I'm going to go to Edit on top, and I'm going to clear and select all, and it disappears. I'm going to do the same thing over here for day 10, because we don't have a day 10, or that we don't have a fourth day of measurement. We just have the 3. So edit, clear and all. Okay, and I'm going to also do that here for this little data table that I did by just copying and pasting the values here. And this data table helped me get me this graph. Okay, and we'll go over that. And so we're going to do what? We're going to do edit, clear, all. Okay, and that may adjust this as we go through, and it does take a little bit of time sometimes as my computer is slow. All right, so let's go grab our data. So let's go back to our Google Sheet. Okay, and I took all the individual data and I organized it way to the right. Okay, good times for me. And we're doing the blue team. So the complete blue team. And I'm going to select these 3 in its entirety, because I'm going to use all these 3. Right? I'm not going to select all 4 because it's LED data. Easy for me to say. So I'm just going to select and scroll all the way down and get this entire group. Do it as a group. All right. And here we go. At some point, it's a lot of them. So it's over 300 for one anyway. We're almost there. Okay, good. I'm going to hit edit. I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to go back to my Excel sheet, and I'm going to click here. And it's going to copy that exact copy of data underneath. Because remember, the data underneath these columns is what the mean was set for. So I go edit and hit paste. And there it goes. Now, I know there's a problem because I saw this occurring someplace. At some point, there was a date down here. I saw that when I was scrolling, I think. So I'm just going to make sure I change that date, and maybe there wasn't a problem. Maybe it was just in my head. And that happens sometimes. Things happen. Oh, there's a date right there. Okay. And just, I'm just going to hit space bar and hit the next one, just empty it out. That's it. Okay. And so now you can see that my graph is changing. We lost the day 10. You can see the days have changed here. Okay, and we can adjust that later. So just stay with me. I'm going to select this group again because I'm going to put it over here. Okay, so I'm going to select this group again, go pretty fast this time. And I think I got them. Yep. And I'll hit edit, copy, and I'm going to put that same group over here, because it's the same values except for the LED. In fact, I can't do that. Sorry. I can only do the first two columns. My bad. So first two columns, we'll do that again. I'm sorry, because the third column is when we split it up to data, so I can't do that. I caught my mistake. All right. And I do make some. So there we go. So I selected all of that two columns because those two columns will be the same because we're trying to make a what? A line graph where those two values are the same. And again, I'll remind you what that means. So at some point, here we go. So I got this, edit, copy, and now I'm bringing it to here. Same thing. It's the same edit and then paste. Good. All right. Now the next thing I do is I need the LED data here, so I'm going to go to the spreadsheet, to the Google Sheet here, and we're going to go get that data. Scroll all the way to the top, and I know some people hate the scrolling, but hey, and looks like my computer. Oh, I thought it froze. All right. Let's go get the data for the LED and do the same thing. We're going to copy it, and looks like it stops there. Okay, edit, copy, and then we're going to put it into our Excel, sorry, no Google there. And I'm going to put that here, edit, paste. Okay, so we've got some things that have changed. However, we want to make some adjustments here. And the adjustments are going to be that the ranges aren't right. So here's the mean, okay? And it's looking for a average that only expands, I think, 20 or so data plots. We have over 300. So I click on the mean, and now I'm going to click carefully, just going to select C12 colon C31. And it gives me this box. And this is the range of data it's looking to make the mean. Well, we want to make that bigger. So I'm just going to scroll all the way all that down. Okay, and I don't care if I overshoot it or not. And I did by a lot, but I don't care. And so I'm going to put this cursor back here and hit enter. Make sure I don't click another box because it'll add that to it. And so I put it right next to the blinking cursor. I hit enter. Okay, and I have a new or a better mean. I don't know if it changed at all. Okay, now I can drag this across because I can use that same spread, and my numbers changed. Okay, now the SD, the same thing. I'm going to take this C12 to 31, select it, get this box, and do the same thing. Drag it all the way down. Okay, I went way past it, but that's okay. And I'm going to just click next to it and say enter. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on the SD and drag that green little box over. And there we go. Okay, and then the SEM, we have to make an adjustment because we have a large number. If you notice, the range is from 12, well in this case 12 to what? Oh my gosh, what a big 333. So minus 12 from 333, well, that's going to be 321. Okay, so 321 is my sample size. So for my SEM mean, I'm going to put 321 in there. 321. Hit enter. Boom. Now I can't drag that across because I have different number of plants here. So it starts at 12 and I go to, for the second column, 268 minus 12 is 256, right? 250, yeah. 258, so 256. You can come in. 256. And I'm going to put that in there. 256 and hit enter right by the blinking light. Okay, and then the next one is not 10, so I'm going to go find that one. That one goes all the way down to about 147 minus 10 is 137 minus 2, 135. So it's minus 12, so 135 there. So 135 there. Okay, and I think I did that right. And we're going to go on to LED data. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is do the same thing over here. Okay, And there's probably a nice way to automate this. And I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to copy these two, edit copy, and I'll put them right here. Cool. Now I can't do the same thing for day 12 because I've got a different range. Okay. All right. So same thing, hit the mean for day 12. That's where our LED is. And we're going to click just like we did before, J12 to J31. I'm just going to select that range. I'm going to drop this box down and I'm going to go find all of my LEDs, and a lot less of them. And if I overshoot it, that's okay. I'm going to click next to the blinking cursor. And I've got that. The SD has to be done the same way because it needs all the values. Remember when you did that standard deviation, you took every measurement, minus the mean, right? So you have to use them all. I'm doing this during my study hall, so my students are looking at me like, what am I doing? Okay, same thing. And hit the blinking cursor, and I'm cursoring. And the next thing I have to do is SEM, which is not going to be 10, it's whatever the value is. So I've got here at 12, and I'm going to subtract that by 76, so that's 64. And all I'm doing is putting 64 as my sample size. Okay, so I'm just going to put 64 right here. We notice our graph is changing, and we'll mess with that in a second. And then we'll hit enter. Okay, cool beans, if beans are chilled. So now we have all of our data set, okay, except that our graph data is looking for these values here. So this top line here is the fluorescent data, and I'm just going to take it and copy it. Command C, and then do that here, Command V. Now there is an issue. The issue is that it's looking for where it got to compute that. So when I click on it, it's looking under M, right? Because M is this column, but yeah, our data is not M, it's in what? It's in C. So I'm just going to type, delete the M and put C there. And then of course, it's going back to C. C12 to C440, that was the range we're using. Carefully click on it. Okay, I'm not sure what that box is coming up. Hit enter. Cool. All right, graph is going nuts. And that's, I'm going to drag this across. And we should have the same values as we do here. The next one, the second mean column, is the LED data. So it'll be series 2. Okay, LED is right here. So we're going to take the 2.86. And I'm going to just edit copy. And I'm going to select here. And I'm going to paste. Edit, paste. Doesn't know what it's looking for, so I click this mean. And it's looking under, if you notice, M13 underneath it, but the data is actually in what? H. So all I got to do is go change that to H. The numbers are the same, so just get rid of the M, type in H, and get rid of that other M and type the H in front. And just put it by the cursor, hit enter. Cool, and then I'm just going to drag this. Boom, I'm done. Okay. Now my graph is looking kind of funky, but it's all good. All right, so there it is. So that's how you've just put all your data from Lab 2 into the activity we did, which was based upon that. All right, and now we could either start from scratch or adjust this data table. And I was hoping the data table would change nicely, but it seems like it lost its way, so to speak. Okay, like I'm getting an error message from day 8. That's why it's not measuring correctly. And I don't know what that error message is. It says update formula to include all cells. Okay, let's see what happens there. It didn't like that. Okay, so I'm just going to take this again and just drag it. See what happens. Okay, I'm getting 2.86, 5.52, and I'm getting 7. So something's not working right. So I'm just going to get rid of, I'm going to clear the format because something's not working here. So I'm just going to take this and say edit, clear. Clear and all. And I'm just going to, there's a way to just add this line into your graph, but I'm just going to make it easy for us. So I'm just going to type it in, 2.86, and I'm just retyping these values here. 5.5. Wait a minute. Ooh, I have the wrong data. The 5.52, 7.55. Okay, that's right. It should be the same. I almost lost myself. 5.52, because the first 2 columns are the same. It's the last one that's different. And we get 7.06. 7.06. Okay. Now my graph isn't changing the way I like. So what we can do is we can make a new graph. Something in the process broke some kind of link here. So I'm just going to delete the graph. And we're going to build a graph together, because I want you to make your own graph, not just use mine. I was hoping the graph would change, but something I did there broke it. So I'm just going to delete it. I clicked it and I hit delete. Okay. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do select these 3 rows. Okay, and then I'm going to go to not data. I want to go to insert, and then we're going to go with this line. We don't want to use this one here that's stacked. We want this line with markers. And look at that. We've made a nice little data table. But we're going to have to add some things to it. And so you notice it's a series 1 and series 2. I don't like that there. So I'm going to click on the graph, or click the graph and select data. Okay. And series 1, which is the first line, okay, we got from the fluorescent data. So I'm going to name that fluorescent. Fluorescent. Okay, and hit OK. And then I'm going to name it. And it should change. Maybe your changes right away, but we'll select data again. And series 2 is LED. I don't know why mine lags. Okay, and now you can change the background here. Now, one thing I would love to do is change this graph so that I can see the I want to see the error bars better. All right, so one way to do that, okay, even though we don't have error bars yet, let's try to go and do this. So we're going to click this, and we're going to add chart element, and we're going to look at axes titles, primary horizontal. Okay, and notice something. We have fluorescent LED just showed up here for me. Okay, all right. So I want to do not axes. I want to do axes, more axes options. Okay, now, so I just did. All I did was add chart element, axes, more axes options, and now I have this open. You got to keep this open. Now you're going to go to Format, and then you click this drop-down menu to Axes. And what's going to happen is this is going to change at some point. Axes, horizontal category. Click this, and it's not doing what I want. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. You go to vertical value axes. Okay, and that makes sense. So all I did was, and I'll walk you through that. I was in chart design. I hit add chart element. I went to axes. I hit more axes option. This came up. Then I hit format. It's probably an easier way, but I haven't figured it out. Then click vertical value axes. And look what it changed, the bounds. And what it's going to do is it gives me the minimum and maximum. So because our chart over here goes to about almost 8, we'll leave that. Okay, now I have to do that again. Chart design, axes, more axes options, format, go to vertical value axes. This is really important. I'm going to click on this axes options, and it gives me this bounds. The maximum will do 8, but the minimum will do, let's say, 2.7. The reason I'm doing that is so I can see more of my graph. 2.7. Okay, and then I'm good there. At some point it changes, and there you go. Now notice it went to 8.7. We want to see this more, but we can leave that for now. So basically, I add breaks. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of this, and now we should be able to add error bars. And again, we could add a chart title. All these little options here in chart design, I want you to play with. All these elements, I want you to go find some things here. But in any case, this is good. Let's add some error bars. So we're gonna go. And I want to just zoom over here because we have to add the error bars manually. So let's go to chart design. Where are we? Hit the chart. That'll pop up the chart design. Click that. We're going to add element. We're going to go to error bars. More error bar options. We go to fluorescent because we named series 1 as fluorescent. And we're going to go to custom. We have to specify the value. Well, we calculated it already. Remember, it's plus or minus 2. So I'm going to do plus or minus 2 all the way across. And then I do it for the negative value, which is the same thing. It's plus or minus the same. Hit OK. All right. And I'll do the same thing for my day LED data. Okay. So I'll do close this out. Okay. And mine is lagging, so I think it's going to come at some point. All right. So we go add chart element. We do error bars. More error bar options. Now it's going to give me a choice. No, I want to do the next one. And again, it's lagging. I'm going to click on the chart, chart design, error bars, more error bar options. We're going to do LED, fix it, then we do custom, specify value, and I'm going to grab these plus or minus 2. And the same thing here. Grab these plus or minus 2, hit OK. Is there something I have to save that I can't see on this? All right. And again, that should have added some error bars. Maybe they're so small. And lo and behold, my computer pops up. I have my error bars for my LED. So let's do this again. My computer has some issues. So we're going to click on this again. We'll do chart design, add chart element, error bars, more error bar options, LED. Okay. And then I specify the value, which I already have. Okay, now I'm going to go into the color. Transparency. Maybe the transparency was different. Okay, solid line. And is my transparency shouldn't be 100%. Oh, I guess my transparency was down to 0, so I had to mess with it. And we can change that line if we want. I think I just saw it and it just appeared on me. 100% transparency. No, we want it. Just trying to figure this out. Okay. I just went, oh, it's 100%. I guess it was set at 0, and now I have to go 100%. Okay, and now I get them. So that for whatever reason, it was set to 0 transparency. So when you did the error bars, we did them correctly. Instead of going here, we did the custom. I just click on here, and I just collected the transparency. Now you can also make these thicker, so I'm gonna, again, it might take a while for it to do that, but I can make them thicker. So we can see one over the other and so forth. And it's taking its good old time for sure. I don't know if I am making it thicker or not, but you can change that and change the colors. Okay, and good times there. But we have the error bars, so you have to check your transparency there. And clearly we can see that they're overlapping, so that's telling us something. All right, and then we can change the title, right? So there's so many other things we can do here. You can change the background and title. You go to add chart element, you can go to chart title. Okay, if I want to change this, I can click right on it and go to home and change the font and start typing my heart away. Okay, and so forth and so on. So I would like you to take your graph like this and customize it, change the colors, and again, you hit the chart design, and add chart element. You can see all these different options here, and I want you to go through them. If you're uncomfortable, hit save. At least you have this, and you can go from there. But definitely make it your own from this point forward. We should know what the chart title is. It was this lab was about. Now the data tables that I expect in lab 2 is this chart. This of course your titled graph, and I expect to see some data tables, which you could basically select like this and copy and into the shared doc I'm going to give you. So I'm going to stop there, but I do want you to keep going and playing with your graph and make it your own. And bring that graph, copy of that graph. You can bring that copy and save it as a PDF, I think, or save it as a bitmap, or save it as an image, or you can do a screenshot of it. Same thing. Bring this data. I want to see the data table and the graph into your Lab 2 shared doc I'm going to give you. All right, but definitely make this. I want you to spend some time with this area here and make this your own. All right, hope that helped.